Yes. So welcome back to Chat with Ade, your host Ade Tiladende. We're so delighted to have you back. And don't forget, if you're new in the space, don't forget to subscribe, to share, to comment, and to like. And follow all my social handles. I don't know why you're not. Chat with Ade, Instagram, TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok, where we say a lot of things. We show a lot of things outside of the
I took her out for lunch and I told her I like her, and if you say yes to me, I'll marry you in 6 months. That was
On our first date.
on our first date.
Yeah.
That is what I said.
Okay, hold on.
I
So,
thought that was
how did
crazy.
you feel about that? Because that's like sometimes could be a turn off.
It was a turn off.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was a turn off. Because like, first of all, like I was working there on Rideau Street. I was a hairdresser then,
Mhm.
and you know when he came, because where he was working was not far from there. He has to pass our salon to go to work. So when he was done work, he was passing back, and he saw that I was still there braiding and da. And then he said, "Are you almost done?" I said, "Well, almost." And it was almost 9 p.m.
Mhm.
And then he said, "Have you eaten?" I said, "No, I haven't had time to eat." He said, "Okay, I'm gonna feed you."
Uh-oh.
I'm like, "This man is arrogant. Feed me, a grown woman like me is gonna feed me." But anyway, so he just went to the restaurant that was open, and we were talking, and then he got a phone call. In my heart, I'm like, only African people can be taking phone calls when they're on a date, right? So I just, in my heart, I was just rolling my eyes, like rolling my
This is
eyes.
not
I'm like,
gonna work.
this is not class. This person has no class, right? So, and then he gets a phone call. It was one of his sisters. Older
Hey,
sister.
let's shout out to Sister Jane. That was the first person that got the news.
Yes.
My big sister.
And listen, we ordered the food. The food wasn't even served yet. And this man was telling his sister, "Oh, you wanna meet my you wanna talk to my future wife?" And I'm looking at saying, "Is this guy okay?" Like I was like, who am I talking to? Like I think this guy must have lost it. Because like this is the first time and we barely even got to talk to each other yet. Right? And so out of courtesy,
Yeah.
I took the phone and I was like, yes auntie, like a good African girl, and then, "Oh, take good care of my butt." "Yes auntie, I will, thank you." And I was throwing some really big laser eyes. I'm like, what's wrong with this man? But to make a long story short, we sat there, we had our dinner, and it was the end of the dinner. And then he was like, "Oh, I like you. I want to marry you. If you say yes to me, we get married in 6 months." Now, where I was seated, I was right across him, and I'm sitting in my heart. I was actually planning a nice bomb to throw at him because I'm like, okay, so I was rehearsing it. Yeah, I'm telling you, I was really rehearsing it. I'm like, okay, how am I gonna package this one so that he gets the message once and for all, right? But when I opened my mouth, I said yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And then the moment I said yes, it's like it wasn't me talking. I said yes, and he saw me go, what? No, like, of course not. Like, and then he laughed and he said, "What? That's my God for you." And then I went on and said, "Oh, just because I'm 27, you think you're gonna say something like that to get me in your bed and that. Then I went going on, and then he said, "That's because you don't know who I am." So we ended it there. Then we went, and we didn't have a car then. He didn't have a car. I didn't have a car. I found that was really cute that it was late in the night, but it took the bus with me all the way to where I was going, which was the opposite direction from where he was going. So I went farther east, all into Quebec, in Gatineau at the time.
And
he was living in Hunt Club West, right? So I found that was really cute. Like, to me, it just told me, okay, this is a very responsible person, right? And consider it. Like, you don't find that often. Like, they say, "Child, please, you're a grown woman. Take your bath. Have a nice day." Like, it's our first date anyway,
Yeah.
But that, yeah. And then from that moment until the time he moved to Toronto a little bit before we got married, from that moment, we have never been apart. Not one day.
Wow.
Like, he kept coming to my work every single day.
So between that time and then when you guys got married, how many months?
8 months.
Between 7 and 8
Yeah.
months. 8 months.
Because we
Okay.
met in April 2023.
Mhm.
2003.
Mhm.
In August, we did a traditional wedding.
And it's
In October, we did church wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you understand how crazy that is, right?
Yeah.
I was a man on a mission.
Clearly.
I was a man on a
Already
mission.
prophesying before you were even on your first
I
date.
knew it was going to happen. So when I told her,
Mm.
if you say yes, I was already convinced in my spirit
Mm.
that she was the one. After
You
my
didn't tell me though. You didn't tell me
No.
that God told you. No, you told me at some point because after that day, remember I was now like running away. Like
Yeah.
literally because
Yeah,
I was like,
let's-
this is crazy. Stay away from me. Oh my God, this
even
is a
when she
stalker.
said that, I'll call her. She's trying to play hard to get. I was like, you're playing hard to get to what? To what you said yes to, or you went and you just like this guy just swept you off your feet, and you just like this guy. I had my afro that time, and the afro was unique. So I was like, you know what? So she's trying to like, I wish this. No, let me do the Nigerian thing and say, how wish this girl know who I be. I was done. This matter was settled in heaven. I'm just waiting for a physical manifestation of what has been done. So when I'll talk to her and she'll make shakara. Just say, oh God. 21 years now, almost 21 years. She still didn't make shakara.
Shakara.
But
That's actually
Of course.
she still didn't make the shakara.
That's
But
fine.
21 years.
It's
the
Yeah,
part of
I
my
hate you.
charm.
It's okay. But it was our coming together was
Just divine.
divine.
For sure.
It was divine.
Yeah.
It was grace. It was everything. You can see. You see when the song that song we'll keep going back. We praise you, Lord. And there's a part of that song that's everything
Mhm.
that I touch. I see your hands. Everything I do, I see your hand.
Mm.
The hand of God was already in this relationship from the beginning. Don't get it twisted. We had to fight. We
Yes.
still, even when we knew it was divine,
Yeah.
we still fought. We fasted. We prayed. We did everything because the forces that against us, you were aware of the whole thing. You knew. So the forces against us,
Yes.
there was a night we were talking on payphone. None of that cell phone is common now. We're talking on the cell phone. Sometimes we talked on the cell phone for an hour, 2 hours. And I
first time, I'm like, yeah, stay away.
Yeah.
Like, let me observe you first.
First.
I'm not just gonna let you in my space,
Yeah.
right? But I have to mention it because I found that was interesting.
Mhm.
You know, also confirming that God actually put us together, because he been telling the driver that he's gonna get married to a singer. Like his wife must be a singer.
Oh.
Now he didn't know I was a singer when we actually met, because we didn't meet in a setting where he. That was let me feed you. So we went to whatever was open.
Yes.
But our first official date,
Yes.
guess where he took me? That he thought was an amazing place.
Oh,
to
it's
take
a
the
great
first
place. It's
date.
still a great place. Everybody that knows me knows that it is a great place.
I hope it's just not like McDonald's or anything like that.
No, it's not
It's
McDonald's.
Chinese.
No,
No.
it's something that
Tim
anybody that seriously.
First date.
My first date, yeah.
No,
I told her I was going to take her out.
Like he popped me up, and I was like going out. Okay, I should I dress? He said you're just casual, you know. Like I said, okay, so I dress casual, and we kept going, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I hope this guy's not taking me to McDonald's or, and then it didn't say we're going for a coffee, right? If you say you're going for a coffee, then I know,
yes.
right? You say, oh, we're going on our first date. I'm taking you out.
I said
So
I'm
I was
taking you out.
expecting,
Okay.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You can fill in the blank whether out.
But
whether it was.
But
So-
when we went to Tim Hortons,
Mhm.
right? So we sat down, and I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay, maybe in my heart, I'm like, okay, maybe we're taking an appetizer, then we're gonna go to a restaurant. But then he said, okay, what do you want to eat? I'm like, oh, this is what we're having today. He goes, yes. So I'm like, okay. So I ordered whatever I wanted, and we ate. And then I kind of asked him,
Mhm.
I said, why are we here? He said, because that's all I can afford.
I was gonna ask.
And
Mhm.
so to me,
Mhm.
I think that was
Oh,
maybe
sweet.
a test. Maybe he wanted to do it. I don't know. He has to speak
Yes.
to that. But to me, it kind of spoke volumes to the kind of person he is, right? Because as far as I was concerned,
Mhm.
I was also tired of those men trying to impress you, right?
Mhm.
Impress you without the look, impress you with their car, impress you with their money.
Yes.
They try to flash all those things, but they don't speak to you properly.
Mhm.
They don't treat you properly.
Yes.
And really, I think this is a good place to tell all the ladies.
Mhm.
If you go out on a date with a man that cannot even give you time to express yourself,
Mhm.
run.
Mhm.
If he can let you express, when he's the one doing all the talking and all the showing off and all the, I
Mhm.
got, I am, I did, I was, I should be, I will be the president of Canada, although we don't have presidents, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
right? You run.
Mhm.
I think a good man that will respect you in the future should be able to take that moment to get to know you, not to show you who they are.
Well said. So the question now is, were you testing her or truly that was all you could afford?
It's a combination of both.
Mm.
First, I don't like pretense. If you can't accept me for who I am,
Mhm.
it's okay. Look, listen, you've known me for 20 something years now. You know this is me. I come like this.
Mhm.
So I knew I was going to take her out, but I wanted to let her see this is genuine.
Mhm.
I like you. Food, restaurant should not be what determine the degree of my likeness.
Mhm.
So so tomorrow if I take you to an upscale restaurant,
Mhm.
maybe just the way we have it today, borrow pose, according to Nigeria, you borrow pose. Now you go and ask for something from your friend and you take it to impress her.
Mhm.
And tomorrow the thing is not there. It's like,
Exactly.
so now if you can handle this, you know this is the real thing. This guy might take you to, and that is exactly what it is. Today, I don't care what is the name of the restaurant. If she wants to eat it, we can afford it.
Mhm.
But at that time, I also want to find out what kind of person is she?
Mhm. Wow.
Is she materialistic?
Mistake.
Because you can still profess I am godly
Yeah,
and
of course.
material.
Mhm.
Now,
We all
where-
have weaknesses
No,
even in
no, no, no,
Christ.
no. So I wanted to find out what is this thing, God, that you're talking about? Because
Is it just vocal or is it inward?
so when I looked at it, it says, look, listen, I have seen plenty, I have seen none and everything. So, but see those, but I was very impressed with her, the way she responded, the way she carried herself.
Mhm.
And again, it wasn't just that we ate that food, but in my now going back, and I saw that was actually the bonding.
Yes.
That was the bonding because
Mhm.
you won't eat for 2 hours.
Yes.
We spent more than 2 hours in that coffee place.
Yes, we did.
We spent more than 2, so it wasn't really like coffee.
Yeah.
It was more like God
Spending
saying,
time.
okay, I want you guys to know each other. And that was how we figured out a whole few things. And
Mhm.
I'm not giving credit to them, but we had quite a few other time sitting at that
So
play.
specific.
That we just go there.
That was the spot.
And
Yes, but yeah, that was our spot.
we now transitioned
Mhm.
from there.
Or the second day
Uh,
was where?
No, I'm not talking about the Mexican one right now.
No,
I'm
the
talking-
second day after the first day was Tim Martin. Second day,
We-
when did we go?
No, I went to somewhere
When did we go?
when I was coming to see you.
No, that was no. I'm talking about the second date first. Where did we go for our second date? Where did you take me for our second date?
Pizza.
That's all I wanted to
So
know.
we're elevating
Elevating
gradually.
slowly.
yeah, we went to pizza, but we were more. I'm more like. I don't want to say it, but I'm more like the coffee guy, so I just take her there. But she understood, so we blended, and I realized that as much as she wants to come to the coffee place, but there's another thing she likes very well, which was in Rideau Center. You know that marketplace in Rideau Center.
Mhm,
Till today, it's 20 years plus.
mhm.
Anytime I go to Square One, they have it in Square One.
Oh, okay.
I must go to that store
Okay,
Mm,
muffin.
and buy her a particular kind of muffin.
really? And they still have that.
Yes, but the one in Rideau Center is closed.
Mhm.
When you go to Square One, you just see them there. So anytime I go there,
Mhm.
when I go to work out, I just, because of her, I will stop there.
Okay.
That is the only time.
Because the funny thing is that, like, I was in a multicultural salon, right?
Mhm.
The owner of the salon was actually Chinese.
Mm.
And then I was about the only black girl working there, like the Spanish, like it was really mixed, right? I remember that, like, as I say, he had a big fro. Although he thought that I liked it, I actually didn't. Because it was driving me crazy. When you have a fro and you can tell it's hard for you to put a comb through that,
Mhm.
right? So everything that can happen underneath it
It's happening.
was just driving me nuts because I'm a hairdresser, so
Dresser.
I
Oh
know
my gosh,
what
yes.
can go wrong in there, right? So, but the funny thing is that there were just so many things happening that actually kind of convinced me, because although I did say yes, as I said, I don't think I'm the one who said it. God said it for me so that we can settle that matter at that moment. But I was still struggling because I'm like, no, like I don't feel, those butterflies.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
teachers that we have
it's
to
not because as far as I'm concerned, he said he had this man who he wanted to marry.
Yeah.
I had my own list as well. You know, we make lists, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So on my list, African was a no.
X.
Zero, like a big X. So the fact that he was African was already like
And Nigerian on
farther
top of
away
it.
from my mind. Like I didn't really mind Nigerian part, but just African period, right? Like I was like no, and double no, right? So for me, I was like, yeah, he's a good guy, but gosh, he's African. Why does he have to be African? You know what I mean? Like I can't handle all that drama. Like I can't. So, but what I'm saying is that the first time he actually came after that night we had that date, one of my coworkers, a Chinese lady, I can never forget that. It's Monica. You have to treat this man well. That's your husband. I looked at her and said, which husband? So I been joked. I said, with that kind of fraud, she laughed. And then she said, well, you're a hairdresser. You can take care of that, right? So I asked him, look, my chair is empty today. Sit down, let me. He said, you, a woman, touch my head. Never. And the way he said it, I said, now that's an African man.
This is what I'm trying to avoid.
this is the part.
It's so funny that but before that period, I must say that every evening I was there before she closed, and we would charge, take her home, then go back. So the whole salon, once it's getting time to close, they all look through the window, and I'm there without fail. But one day she now told me like, okay, I'm going to cut your hair, like for real. You're going to cut my hair. I'm an African man. You can't cut my hair. And she's like, there was nothing she did not do. So she has a.
I told her, see across the street. There's a salon there.
Go
ask for so and so.
Go and cut
them,
it.
I sent you. You should take care.
So I went to the guy's salon there.
And then they went to fix his fro. When he came back, all the girls said, look at. I mean, they can clean that pretty well.
So,
like everybody was
no.
Monica, nice catch. I'm like, which catch?
The African man in me came out. But you see, many years later now she cut my hair.
No,
there's no hair now to cut. So she still does.
Now sometimes you say, oh, you want to trim it down for me? You want to line it up for me? I said, oh, now I can do that?
Yeah.
I guess now we trust me that much, right?
So now, you know how it is, especially in our culture. They want you to date for like, God knows till kingdom come before you even get married. So when you decided that, yes, you guys are going to get married in such a short period of time, what was the backlash that you got from the community, from the church, from your family? What was the backlash?
There were a lot,
yeah,
depending on the setting. In my family, first of all, it was no, double L, no.
Because it was too early?
No, because it was Nigerian.
Yes.
110%.
They said, Nigerians, we all know the bad news. Nigerians only marry their women. He's probably with you for some reason. And then they asked me, what is his status in Canada? I said, well, he just got here not long ago.
Like, oh,
they said, there it is. No joke, they didn't hide like it's my family. They said, there it is. He's marrying for your papers, right? So that you can
the white back home.
Yeah, it was all kind
that was another level of
Mm.
motivation that my wife got, because you can see when she came from that talking
Yeah.
that this is a new person, because everyone around her here was weighing her
My
down.
goodness.
And for her to get this assurance from her own mother, the only thing that every time I say, God, why didn't she stay long to see what she saw that
Mhm.
others did not see, that they are
Right,
seeing now?
right.
That she
Of battle,
Of course.
because of course, they always want you to give up on the marriage because they see what it's going to become,
Exactly.
right? Now, marriage has started. What are some hurdles that you guys now had to deal with, and how did you overcome it?
For me, on my side, for example, it was at the very beginning to try to um, understand that I cannot, how would I put it? I'm not a controlling person, but I like to have things under control, right? I like things to be in a certain order, like have things done a certain way, just because as I said earlier, like I'm a very pragmatic. I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
through things before I do them or I do whatever. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, and marriage to me, it was two people that are individuals,
Mm-hmm.
but they decide to become one person, not one individual. Though we still two individuals that want to become one person in order to journey together, right? So I never look at the side of, that individualism, if I would use that word, means that somebody can actually do whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want. It's like
Yeah.
right
Mhm.
without necessarily considering you, right?
Yeah.
The consideration is a nice thing because that's what helps you to know that there's someone else in your life.
Mhm.
That I think at the very beginning we had to face a big challenge, for immigration reasons.
Mhm.
But he had to also get out of his single mind
Mhm.
set. He didn't get out of it fast enough. I think because also he got married fast from the moment we met,
Yes.
and naturally, like you may want one thing,
Mhm.
but you aligning to what you want is a whole other story.
Yes.
So at the beginning, it was more of him going out and coming home very late,
Mhm.
right? I felt like, how can you be married to someone that you
Mhm.
barely see?
Mm.
Like it was like I broke down like in the first month.
Mm.
Like
And
he
then
didn't see
you
that he was
guys
doing
have
it.
even left
We
the
have
city.
left the city that I know, that I have
Yes.
friends in, that literally I grew up in.
Yes.
Now I'm in a new strange city
Mhm.
because he came here before me.
Mhm.
So he kind of met people
Already
already, had a
friends.
little
Family.
crew.
Yeah.
The
And
Nigeria-
I didn't, right? I didn't. So I felt like at the beginning, I felt a bit abandoned in that
Yes,
sense
yes.
that, okay, he got his people, he's
Mhm.
meeting his people, and I'm here, like I'm just home,
Yes.
right? Because I didn't have a job then either.
Mhm.
So everything was just so new. Like I was expecting, like again, expectation. I was expecting that, he's gonna be with me, we're gonna chill, we're gonna, you know what I mean?
Like we
Yeah.
used to.
Right. But he was hustling.
Yes.
You understand? Like he was thinking about we got bills to pay, we
Mhm.
got this to do, you know what I
Take care of
mean?
this woman, yes.
Yeah. So for me that was hard for me because I remember one day I kind of literally broke down and I called him and I said, you should have told me that I would cry this early.
I will never forget that
Oh my
statement.
goodness. Mm.
Right? At least I would have prepared to
Myself.
cry. Right? And then he said, no, I never meant for you to cry. So he had to explain. So I said, well, you know what? What's going to help us is if we are able to freely communicate. Like, we don't have to talk through big things alone. Because sometimes, you don't talk about anything, I'm going to do my thing, I'm doing my thing. Then when we have a big decision to make, then we sit down and sometimes it's a bit counterproductive in that way because you're going to start a story in the middle, right? Or if something, we have to make a big decision and you say, okay, we have to decide about this. I say, yeah, but what's the genesis of this?
Yes.
Maybe we could have handled that, not to get to this point because we were discussing it before. So I think a lot of men are like that. They don't discuss, chat a lot of things. Yeah. But women, we are very chatty and we are kind of emotional. A little thing I need to tell you everything that happened in my life today, including I hit my little toe, it's hurting me. And then he'll be like, quite frankly, like, can we move on to the big stuff? And that was a challenge for me, right? And I think that to help myself, I literally again, everything I do for me, I'm very practical Christian. I think theology is good. I think all the nice stuff, they are good. But I always tell
It's your relationship with God, because when I met you, you and God was 5 and 6. How did my coming into your life now stop you from making God your 5 and 6? So a lot of people don't understand that you were praying to God for a wife.
Yeah.
Now God gave you a wife. Now you stop asking God. No, God says, no. This is not how it works. I want to still be the center before and after. I still be the center of the midst. I am in this marriage with you. You consulted me and say, my daughter, and I gave you my daughter. And now you will say, oh, no, never work.
I don't need you again. Are you all right?
Are you all right?
I'm not, I'll tell you how to take care of my daughter. I'm not, I'll tell you how to take care of my son.
Yeah, I remember even the time I can go back a little bit just to make that point. You know, I know he heard from God that that's your wife. And I remember even I told him, I said, yeah, God told you, okay, let him tell me too.
Yes.
You can talk to me, right? And I remember when I was praying, God told me to say, well, it's a bit difficult for me to explain things to you when you have a list.
Woo,
right? So he literally told me I had to throw, like, I literally threw out the list. I tear it up, I put it in the garbage. I say, okay, God, over to you, right? And why am I saying that is that it is real. Like, if you're Christian, you know, everybody quotes that very well. You know, whatever God has put together, let no man put asunder, right? Everybody
Including
knows
yourself.
that. Yeah, everybody knows that. But if He is the one who put it together, how can you not put it asunder? You actually have done it the moment you took him out of the deal, right?
Yes.
So if you now become too big or too busy or too married or too parent, you become like the expert on marriage when you actually know nothing. Like I keep telling you, like, yeah, we've been together 20 years. I'm still discovering. Just last month, I was telling myself, oh my God, I feel like a new person. Like, because we just keep discovering things about one another.
I'm hot.
Why?
She's discovering the hotness. Oh, God, can't touch
That
this.
burns.
Okay.
But I think, like, if I would tell anyone, like, of course, marriage have challenges. You have the ups and the downs. Normal. It's if marriage was perfect, then it became imperfect the moment you got into it because you're not perfect, right? So when we understand that and we said, okay, I'm here to stay, right? Sometimes we get in trouble because many people have options, right? They say, well, if this doesn't work out, I'm out. If this doesn't fit, I can always go. I'll find somebody better. You know that people say all kinds of things. But I'm yet to meet anyone that was genuinely married with someone they wanted to be with. What's really happening are two different stories, right? It might look like, okay, I got remarried. Oh, I'm happier now. So you say, right? But to the core of it, because I was telling someone just a couple of days ago, I was talking to someone and I said, God said the man will cleave to his wife, and together they become one flesh. I said the reason why divorce should never be an option. Think of it as the moment I'm thinking divorce, that means I'm thinking to commit suicide. Because you have to shoot yourself so they can cut you into pieces. Because you're one person. How are you going to slice that person into two? Unless you go under a complete anesthesia or they kill you or something, right? So if you look at it, you say, okay, this is me. This other person is me. So his flaws are my flaws, right? So I'm not going to push somebody asked me and say, your husband is such a strong guy, he's out there doing all kinds of stuff. There's always women around him. Don't you feel jealous? I said, of what? Well, all these ladies and your husband is always like, he's like, you know, he likes talk to people. He's always like, sometimes you look like, he's too intimate with that woman or whatever, the way you see it. And just to make a point to that, I remember when we were yet to get married, church folks,
Yes.
a few of them came to me. I'm working. And they said, "Oh, you're here working. Do you know where your husband is?" I said, I'm not supposed to know where he is. I'm not God, you know. He said, we just passed him over there. He's cozying up with some girl. You know what I told them? I said, he's probably preaching to her. They said, "Oh, you're not worried?" I said, "About what? I don't understand." Because to me, again, 20 years plus, I don't pick his calls. When somebody calls his cell phone, I don't pick it up. He doesn't pick up my cell phone. I have a code on my phone. He has a code on his phone. And that's not to keep each other out of it.
You don't know each other's codes?
Oh, yes.
We do.
My phone, 95% is either her or the kids that set it up. Me don't set the code on my phone. They, like, my phone is misbehaving now. My kids all know my phone code. I know her. I hardly go there.
Yeah.
I said, not because one, her phone is like general phone. When I mean general phone,
Everybody in the house.
all the kids, so they want to play game. They have phone, but my phone they don't touch it because it's an office phone. It's a business phone. But her phone, even sometimes they teach me. I say, okay, this is mommy's code and all those stuff. But again,
the point I was trying to say is that I think a lot of people forget that just because you're married and you become one person means you're not an individual anymore, right? Everybody needs their space. If you're too much in my space, I'll feel uncomfortable, right? If you're too much in my business, we are people like, I am allowed to keep secrets. He's allowed to keep secrets. Just because we're married doesn't mean I gotta know everything. No, you don't. You're not God. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to share with you, I share it. Maybe it's something I am embarrassed about, right? And I don't want you to look at me that way. So I'm not gonna share it with you. But if you keep prying into the other person, then you definitely gonna find out what you are looking for, right? If you pry into your husband's phone, like because you think you're gonna find a woman, that you definitely gonna find one, right? The one that you made up in your own mind, you will find them in there, because in the end you will create a problem that was never there before, right? So for me, I say you have to give people their privacy. It's important, because like a real question, how much do you love yourself to the point of saying, I love myself so much, I don't see anything wrong with myself. I think I'm the best person that exists. Unless you're a narcissistic person or something is wrong in your mental, like, you know. But a real person, the things about yourself that you don't like, that you wish you can change.
Yes.
So why don't you extend the grace to your partner? Right? Instead of pointing it, you say, okay, maybe it's something he has to work on. Let me extend it. Because you're not going to say to yourself, Monica, I don't like the way you talk from today.
that this man genuinely loves me, you don't even ask her, you don't need to tell her to be submissive. She automatically, and I see the wisdom in the Bible when it says, the man just love. Your responsibility is love. Love is protection. Love is provision. Love is caring. Love carries everything. And once you put it on the table and the woman can go with it, before you even say, I want water, water is on the
You
table.
know that you need water.
And she just submits. And people will say, oh, why is she behaving like a fool? No, she's a fool to that love that she can testify.
Yes.
But I think also people have a wrong idea of what submission is, right? Yeah, because I know that somebody asked him, I think you were telling me, he said, oh, your wife is such outspoken and she's out there, she's doing all kind of stuff. How do you handle her? How do you control her? What did he tell me?
Look, listen. You know, I think when my wife was saying something here, coming together does not take away my freedom to express myself.
Yes.
Everything you see that she's doing that I cannot be supportive of, I cannot. There is no control system in our house. Who is controlling who? We don't control each other. We just love each other. We just do things together. She comes and says, this is how things should be. I look at it, if it makes sense, I say, baby, it makes sense. If it not make sense, I should be able to express myself without fear. So now when people, I was speaking to someone recently on how promoting this new single, We Praise You, Lord. So I sat down with a guy and I was telling the guy, my mission now, my only happiness, the only thing that matters, I know you're trying to put me out there, but pause for a little bit. I want you to put her out there. And you can see the shock in the face of the guy. Says, no, listen, I'm packaging things for you that I'm going to, for you. I said, no, it's not about me right now. That's about
That's the mission at the moment.
that is just all it is. Our ability to understand time and season. Now, you're trying to push me, I will be very happy, but I'll be much more okay to see her do well, vice versa. She'll be much more okay. If we reverse, we flip the coin, she will still do the same thing. And she will still tell the person.
The funny thing though is that sometimes I find it funny at home because you will come and say, okay, honey, we need to do this for you, we need to do this for you. And I'm like, no, we need to do this for you, we need to do this for you. And it's like, okay, let's do this one first. I said, no, let's do this. Okay, let's try to do it together then because, but I think like going back to the submission, because I know, especially for us Christian women, we've been wounded, if you will, in that area because people have tried the many ways to make sure that we are submissive. Could be even with the preaching, it could be sometimes validating or encouraging domestic abuse in the name of submission, right? So I think it's a very important subject because, as a Christian, again, divorce, at least for women, I know, like many women, divorce is like, you don't even think about it. It's like when even in your home, the divorce start being a part of the conversation, it's the woman that gets the more tense about it. It's the woman that gets the most confused about it. And in the end, because of the way our society is the woman that suffers the most in that sense, right? Because she's the one that people will look at, you the failure. You failed your marriage. I mean, excuse me, it wasn't a one-way marriage. There was somebody else in it, right? Exactly. But it's like, mostly it's like, oh, you can't keep a man. You can't do, it's always like the woman. So I think it's a very important subject that maybe Maybe another time we can
We'll be
really
coming back.
explore.
Yeah.
But to sum it up, I always look at submission as not you becoming subjected to someone else, but you gladly taking your own authority and transferring it to someone that you trust, just because you know that that person is taking you into the right direction. And the bottom line is, women, we live by what we hear.
Yeah.
A sweet talker like this guy here can take you to the moon and back.
Yes.
However, I know, like, every waking moment, I know when he's out there. Like I told you, right, that I was calling him, I couldn't reach him. It does never occur to me for all these years, if I'm calling him and I'm not reaching him, it has never occurred to my mind, maybe he's avoiding my calls, period, or maybe because he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing. Never occurred. Like when I finally talk to him, I always tell him, "You didn't pick my call." I said, "But I know you probably, but I was worried that if something happened to you." Like it was never like you avoiding, because I'm like, I can't fathom him avoiding me, because I know every waking moment, whatever he does it for me. To be honest, like I know that. So even though I have my opinions, like because obviously if we're discussing something, I have to voice my opinion. But when it comes down to we're gonna have to make a decision, if we don't meet, I gladly submit. I gladly say, okay, you make the decision. And then I joke about it as I say, well, be ready to deal with the consequences, right? But that's, for me, I think that's the beauty of submission. I think to the women out there, I think God asked us to submit, not because He wanted us to we are a second-class citizen. I don't think so. I actually think it's very beautiful. He's just trying to take the stress away from us. He said, let Him make the decision. Let Him do it. But it becomes difficult now if the person making the decision over your life is not loving you. Right? So if you find that your wife is not submissive, Oga, look at yourself.
You need to start showing love.
Yeah, but I just want to say, this 20 years unscripted. It's very unscripted. We just yeah. So I probably we can call it Adeba unscripted.
We're chatting.
We just chat through everything. But again, I really want to say the song was vetted from our experience. It was vetted from how people didn't want us to get married. Even when we get married, how people... let me just throw this one out. We got married, and remember I was still dealing with my immigration situation, documentation situation, so things were very challenging for us. So we got married. We left Ottawa. I came to Toronto to put things together and all those things, and she came. Then one of her cousins was doing a wedding.
Yeah.
And my wife went to the wedding. That was 3 years later after we went together. But
well, not even. I think it was like a year.
A year plus, or something like that.
Yeah, just about a year.
Somebody went to her and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that Austin left you."
Like everybody in Ottawa actually were told by some mysterious force that he had abandoned me, he has found another Nigerian woman, he actually has left, he's living in a different town entirely, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, some people called me and they're like, "Oh, we heard
anybody to boss me, but we just become partner.
He has a complicated mind.
Yes. So,
I
And
just
your,
have to put it
and your
there.
mind is busy.
Yeah, I just have to put
secondly,
it
the
there.
fact that she's a life partner. We walk. What you see is what you get. My wife can't pretend. She can't. She just give you. You might not like her, but that's fine. But she will just tell you the way it is. So she's first of all, the fear of God. Secondly, that she's a willing partner.
Mhm.
And then the other aspect was like you see the way it is. You see her.
Mhm.
She's a wife. She's a mother. She still plays that role. She's not abdicated the role of being a wife and a mother. I still get home and be treated. So I get three roles now that I play. I get treated as a pastor.
Mhm.
I get treated as a husband,
Mhm.
and I get treated as the father of the children.
Mhm.
So it all depends on what.
On the mood.
No, it's me now. Depends on what I'm looking for.
Oh.
So I come with the rod that says, okay, you say I'm your pastor, do this for your pastor. So you said,
Yeah, that's manipulation.
you said, but I am the same person. He says, okay, this time around. Oh, and she does the same thing. She's like, okay, now I'm not now dealing with you as my husband, I'm dealing with you as my pastor. So I'll give you that as a pastor. I was like, okay, yeah, but her
Boundaries.
submission,
Yes.
she's very submissive, she's wifely, she's motherly, she's just an amazing soul. These are things that makes the journey easier for me. I'm not able to do what I'm doing if I did not have 110% of her support system. She is the biggest supporter and the biggest fan I have. Her support system. So that's it. If as a man, as a woman, if you have a good support system, you're good to go. And for me, she's my good to go. I always tell her, "You are my good team." That's what the Bible says. It says, "He that findeth a good thing." That is my good.
Okay, love wanting teen. They'll take that love back home.
Yes, we'll take it back home.
Oh, we want to say thank you guys so much. We want to say thank you for the time you spent with us and throwing out gems which we believe our viewers are going to take and they're going to use, because marriage is a very, very important institution for God, and He knows why it is, because that is what the devil hates the most.
Yeah.
And He wants us to be able to show love, not just with our partners, but if we can definitely show love to our partners, it will be so much easier to show love to everyone around us, and we're able to build that only which God wants. So we want to say thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to streamline the music on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, whatever. There's so many spaces out there for you to listen to the music, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Monica Mas, right? Instagram, Monica Mas Official. Yes. So please do that. And if you have any questions, especially knowing that they're both pastorates, and you want counseling or anything, because we do know a lot of struggling marriages out there, and you want counseling, do reach out. Just send me a message. I will send their numbers to you, or leave a message in the comment section. They will read it and they'll reach out, just so that you can get not just anyhow counseling, because we know a lot of people on social media now are counselors, but self-made counselors, but to be able to get a genuine Christian-based, God-based, Christ-based counseling, which is what we need nowadays in 2024. So thank you so much. We want to say thank you guys so much for your time,
Thank you,
for the love, for letting God use you to be an example to this generation. God bless your union the more. We're still going to come back individually, because we have things we need to talk about some more. So we're going to be back. So thank you guys so much. God bless you.
Thank
you guys. I appreciate you.